Hello, everybody. Welcome to the lecture series on pricing strategies. This particular video is about elasticity of demand. Through this video, you'll be able to understand how market is sensitive to prices and other factors. So, how demand to a product changes in accordance with pricing and other related factors. So, elasticity of demand is a factor which is used to determine how demand changes with variations in pricing and other economic factors. So, how elastic or how flexible demand is with respect to the influencing parameters. So, there are several types of demand, namely like price elasticity of demand, income elasticity of demand, cross elasticity of demand, all of which will be discussed in detail in the forthcoming slides. So, why is it important to study elasticity of demand first? So, once you know or once you have an understanding of elasticity of demand, you'll be able to arrive at better pricing. So, elasticity of demand will be of help in determining pricing strategies. It will be of help in understanding consumer behavior as well. Elasticity of demand will give an understanding of how consumers are said to behave in a particular way. So, based on understanding of consumers, you will be able to work out on the quantity that is going to be produced. The third important aspect is optimizing your revenue. By understanding demand, businesses will be able to optimize their revenue. Say, for example, the pricing of luxury commodities and necessities vary greatly. Say, like luxury commodities fall under income elasticity category, while necessity fall under price elasticity category. Depending on the nature of product, depending on the pricing parameters involved, the type of elasticity that is playing around will also vary. So the first type of elasticity of demand is price elasticity of demand. Price elasticity of demand is the ratio between the percentage change in quantity demanded to the percentage change in price. So how much the quantity demanded changes with variation in price. So demand is said to be elastic if percentage elasticity of demand is greater than 1. It is said to be inelastic if the percentage elasticity is less than 1. And a unit elastic demand is said to exist when price elasticity of demand is exactly equal to 1. So there are several factors which influence price elasticity of demand. The determinants are how available substitutes are. Say there are a lot of substitutes available to a product. We may not prefer when product A's price increases. If the price of product A increases, we'll eventually skip on to using the substitute products. The second determinant is whether the product is necessary or whether it is a luxury. In case it is a necessity, then price elasticity of demand will come into play. So provided the product is a luxury, then price elasticity may not have a direct impact. Third, the time horizon, the time period in which the elasticity of demand is calculated. Say in the beginning of the month when everybody has substantial cash in their hand, there may be a lesser impact of price. But on the other hand, towards the later period of a month when the salary is all like flushed off through expenses, the role of price increases. So the time frame at which the elasticity of demand is determined also has an impact. So like the demand for coffee is not exactly the same as demand for electricity. Because like coffee, you may drink it or you may not drink it. You may prefer tea if the price of coffee increases. But on the other hand, how much ever the price of electricity increases, we have no option but to use it. So demand cannot be the same across all the products. The next type of demand is income elasticity of demand, which is determined by the ratio between change in quantity demanded to the change in income. So how changing income impacts demand. So a product is said to be a normal good if the income elasticity of demand is greater than 0. That is, anybody can afford, or people with a substantial income can afford. This is not an inferior product. This is not a product that only people with lesser demand can buy. On the other hand, a good is said to be inferior. A good is said to be affordable by the mass, even by the people with the least income, when income elasticity of demand is less than 0. So lesser the income elasticity of demand, more is the affordability towards the product. So, for example, let us consider luxury or higher end products. As the demand of, as the income of the population increases, the demand for higher end products increases. However, consider necessities like rice, oil, milk, etc. how much ever be the variation in income, whether there's income or not, whether there's a very meager income or whether there is a lump sum income, the demand for these products still exists. So certain goods are normal, certain goods are inferior. The third category of elasticity is cross elasticity of demand. This is when demand of one product has an influence on the demand of the other, or price of one product has an influence on the demand of another product. So cross elasticity of demand is determined as the percentage change in quantity demanded of product A to the price of the percentage change in price of product B. So a product is said to be a substitute of another. Product B is said to be a substitute of product A if cross elasticity of demand is greater than 0. On the other hand, a product is said to be a complement of the other when cross elasticity is less than 0. So substitute is where for a shorter period you can replace product A with B, but a complement is where you can use both the products only along each other. Only when A is used, B has a purpose. So an example of substitute is tea over coffee. On the other hand, an example of complementary product is printer and ink cartridge. An ink cartridge has no use without a printer. A printer cannot function without an ink cartridge. So these products are complementary. So elasticity of demand has a lot of real world applications. This helps in taking a lot of business strategic decisions like arriving at dynamic pricing models, coming up with discount strategies to attract customers, or to understand how competitors' pricing has an impact on us. It is important to know elasticity of demand. Say, for example, in determining airline ticket pricing, the demand shift in seasonal products. Say, sweaters have a greater demand in winter, cotton cloths have a greater demand in summer. So to understand all these patterns, it's very important to understand elasticity of demand. However, there are a lot of challenges and limitations when it comes to determining elasticity of demand. Like it is not an accurate measurement. It's very difficult to measure elasticity accurately because perception and perspectives vary with time. Market is unpredictable. Market involves human beings. As we all know, human mind is unpredictable, so is the market. External economic factors may also have an influence on the determinants of elasticity. So taking all these into consideration, we have to carefully determine the elasticity of demand. So elasticity of demand helps businesses take pricing decisions. Different elasticities have impact on different industries depending on the nature of products. Only when we understand elasticity of demand, we'll be able to take better strategic decisions. So pricing of a product is an art, but elasticity is what makes pricing a science. So without knowing elasticity, without understanding the elasticity of demand, it's difficult to price a product appropriately. So I hope this video was of help to you in understanding elasticity of demand. I'll see you soon with another interesting content. Thanks for watching.